What is up, everybody? This is John with Archer Film. All right, this next movie was Ari Aster's second film, Midsommer. When I first saw it in the theater, I really liked the daytime horror aspect. I really loved the performances. Frances Pugh is amazing. I think for any of these horror films, in order to elevate them, aside from a complex theme, something that is interesting, perhaps a unique concept, and the dynamic between the characters, you really need amazing performances, and Ari Aster gets that out of his actors, whether it's Toni Collette in Hereditary, Florence Pugh in Midsommer, or Joaquin Phoenix in Beau is Afraid. Having a great actor anchor your whole movie is so crucial to how the movie hits. So Midsommer, aside from the great performances, I love the daytime horror. I love the gruesomeness of some of the scenes. I loved how they get sort of caught up and it makes you feel paranoid. He's very good at paranoid, whether it's paranoid about your family, paranoid about your surroundings and your friends, or in Beau is Afraid, just absolute paranoia of the world. It's a very effective horror sort of feeling to make the audience feel as paranoid as the main character. So when I first saw the movie, and I loved all those things, but by the time it ended, I was like, what is he trying to say? Is this a comment on the patriarchy? Because that kind of stuff is nonsensical to me. If you're going to make a film, you have to impart some sort of meaning that is unique, yet truthful, something that taps into the universal feeling at the time, but also it's very specific. Like it's tough to do. But in this case, I thought he kind of failed at the end. Although I loved most of it, what first set me off was the relationship did not seem authentic. There was just something about the performances and the relationship stuff that I was like, yeah, it just seems so compared to Hereditary and the family dynamic, I just didn't buy it. And so, I was like, well, obviously he's trying to say something about relationships and men and the patriarchy and domineering and all this other stuff. And I was like, so I kind of dismissed it when I first saw it. Upon seeing it again, and this is a year, 2 years later, I saw something different. And I think I saw what he was trying to say. I really, let myself go with the concepts. And what I think he was trying to say is be careful who you surround yourself with when you leave home. Be careful the surrogate family you choose. So at the beginning, she loses her family, and she immediately runs to this unreliable, unsympathetic boyfriend and his dickhead friends. So right off the bat, she's choosing poorly, and I think that is what leads the whole narrative. And by the time it ends, I feel like that was exactly the point, is be careful the community that you surround yourself with. And at the time, culturally, if you think about what's going on, I think Ari Aster was commenting on, these extreme sort of communities and cultures that are cropping up everywhere, whether it's online, woke stuff, the extreme right stuff, all of these extreme cultures kind of whisk regular people away, and that becomes your new mentality. That becomes your way of thinking. You're no longer an individual. You become part of this mass cultural, idea or thought process. And that's clearly what happens to Florence Pugh through the course of the movie. They take the drugs, and drugs is a way of breaking down the self and becoming part of a community. Not necessarily a bad thing, but in this case, it is, because the communities she becomes a part of are homicidal, and, it eventually leads in everybody's downfall. So I think that was the main point of what, he was trying to say with this is, be careful the surrogate family that you choose when you leave home. She obviously chooses poorly, and it is her downfall. And what's interesting is that idea at the end, she's surrounded by all the flowers, when she wins the May Queen prize. And then also the boyfriend, is, he's inside the bear costume. So they're surrounded by nature. They're one with the surroundings. But in this case, the surroundings are bad. They are not good. They are, like I said, this, homicidal commune, of inbreds. And so it just sort of paints this horrific picture, and it's done so subtly, But I think that is the point, is be careful who you choose to be your surrogate family, because they will end up thinking for you, feeling for you, choosing who you're going to marry, who you're going to breed with. And I think that is a very solid point. It takes away your individuality and your individual way of thinking, and you become part of this big mass, and in this case, a very destructive one. I liked the movie. I liked it upon first viewing. I liked it more the second time. I kind of got it, and, although I think that Ari Aster kind of messes up his endings, I think the ending of Hereditary, as I said in my last video, is flawed, and I think Beau is Afraid is about 30 minutes too long and just sort of starts hitting the same point over and over again. Although there's some just masterful moments, I think it was a little bit indulgent on his part, but also so close to being a masterpiece. If you want to know what I think is an actual horror masterpiece, that's going to be in the next video, so stay tuned for that. Thanks for listening and watching, everybody. This is John. I will see you tomorrow.